who's actually going to get real benefit from the FlightScope Mevo Gen2, and who should just keep scrolling past another pricey gadget. If you're wondering whether this portable launch monitor and swing camera combo is worth the cash for a typical weekend golfer, you're not alone. Most of us have sat at the pro shop, watched a demo, and walked away feeling both intrigued and uneasy about spending a few $100 on something that promises data, simulation, and video all in one. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down the real-world experience, the moments when it shines, and the situations where it feels more like a flashy add-on than a must-have. First off, the Mevo Gen2 markets itself as a portable launch monitor and simulator, with a front-facing camera that can capture your swing from multiple angles. On paper, that sounds perfect for anyone who wants to practice at home, on the range, or even at the office. The promise is simple. Swing, see your data, watch the video, and get instant feedback. The appeal is obvious for a golfer who likes numbers, but the question is whether the numbers are reliable enough for meaningful improvement, and whether the camera actually records in conditions you'll encounter. In practice, the device is fairly easy to set up. You place it on a flat surface, power it on, and the built-in camera pops up with a quick autofocus that locks onto the ball within a second. For most casual players, that speed feels decent. I tried it on a bright sunny patio and the camera tracked the ball cleanly, delivering a clear shot tracer that you can watch on the built-in screen or stream to a phone. The data points, 18 swing parameters appear in a tidy overlay. For a beginner who's just learning club head speed or launch angle, those figures can be eye-opening, especially when you can see them paired with a video of the swing. However, the strengths start to wobble once you move away from perfect lighting. In low light or overcast conditions, the autofocus becomes hesitant, sometimes hunting for a few extra seconds before locking. The video then appears slightly jittery, and the shot tracer loses a bit of precision. If you plan to use the Mevo Gen2 in a dim indoor garage or at dusk, you'll notice that the camera's low-light performance isn't on par with dedicated sports cameras that have larger sensors. For a hobbyist who practices mostly in daylight, that's a manageable compromise, but for anyone relying on nighttime sessions, it becomes a real drawback. Battery life is another practical factor. The unit runs on a built-in rechargeable pack that lasts roughly 3 to 4 hours of continuous use. That's enough for a solid practice block, but you'll need to remember to charge it overnight if you intend to swing multiple times a day. The indicator is clear, but you can't really push the device to its limits without watching the battery dip, which can be frustrating in the middle of a focused practice routine. Now let's talk about the software side. The Pro package includes a suite of simulated courses and a GPS overlay that attempts to recreate a real-world course experience. The 8E6 courses feel more like a novelty than a serious training tool. They're fun for a quick play-a-hole session, but the graphics are basic and the physics don't match up with what you'd get from a higher-end simulator. If your goal is to entertain guests or add a bit of gamification to a backyard session, it works. If you're hoping to replace a dedicated indoor simulator, you'll probably feel shortchanged. The data itself is where the Mevo Gen2 tries to stand out. It gives you clubhead speed, ball speed, launch angle, spin rate, carry distance, and a handful of other metrics. For an entry-level device, the numbers are decent, but they're not as consistent as the pricier TrackMan or Foresight models. In my testing, the same swing recorded a few seconds apart could vary by up to 5% in ball speed. That variation isn't huge, but it means you can't rely on the device for precise shot-by-shot analysis. Instead, treat the numbers as trend indicators, use them to see whether you're generally getting faster or more consistent over time, rather than as absolute truth for every swing. Who should actually buy this? If you're a beginner or a casual golfer who enjoys gadgets, wants a quick visual of your swing, and likes the idea of seeing some data without committing to a multi-thousand-dollar launch monitor, the Mevo Gen2 fits the bill. It's portable enough to pop into a trunk, lightweight enough to travel, and the built-in camera adds a visual element that many smartphone apps lack. It also makes sense for a teaching professional who needs a low-cost way to show students basic swing metrics and a video replay in a small indoor space. For those users, the combination of data and video is a clear win. On the other hand, if you're a low-handicap player who already tracks swing metrics on a regular basis, or if you're looking for a home simulator that can faithfully reproduce